Hey, everybody, it is Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show and the Aftershocks podcast. And before we show you this next video, just wanted to remind you that you can add the CMS PN to your Roku. That's right. If you have a Roku or a Roku TV, just click the link below. It's in the scroll. It's also in the description of this video. And make sure you're logged into your Roku account on your computer, and it will add it right to your Roku. It'll add it, then you just refresh your device, and bang, there it is. That way you can watch all of our episodes, whether it's us or Skull Sessions or Talk to Me or Aftershocks or Classic Metal Show. All be on your TV. It's a deal, right? And it's free. All right, make sure you do that. And now, here's the video you actually came to see.
It's every mother's nightmare right here with Walls Come Down. Our good friend Rick Rule.
It's me, Rick Rule here. You're my nightmare.
We got to be friends with Rick over the years.
Like Rick.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
Yeah, good dude.
I like Rick. He's just sort of like a good old country boy.
He could use a sandwich, that's for sure.
Well, the last music video that he did?
Yeah.
Man, he did not look healthy.
Yeah, looked like a meth head.
He did. He looked awful. And I hope that was just the video, but boy, if he's having some issues, I hope really that isn't the case. But
right.
Man, he did not look good in that video.
Looked a little rough, that's for sure.
But to know Rick a little bit and hang out with him and stuff, he's just kind of like he just likes to go out there and play his music.
Sure. Well, if Rick wants to put down the meth and come watch some wrestling with me, he's more than welcome.
All right. Eddie Trunk interviewed a guy, and I hate to put this in perspective, but I want to put this in perspective to see what you're thinking.
Okay.
Do you remember when we had Jason Green on the show?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And he kind of spilled the whole rat behind the scenes, Bobby Blotzer's rat thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How long ago was that?
6 years ago?
Well, it wasn't quite 6. It was 5.
Okay.
5 years ago.
All right.
It seems like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it does seem pretty not that long ago, but yeah.
But he came on the show for about an hour, and he basically talked the whole hour.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That came up on the CMS 24/7 stream last week.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I just happened to catch it.
Okay.
And you and I really didn't participate as far as like asking a bunch of questions.
No, he just took off.
He just kind of rambled for almost a total hour.
Right.
And then Bobby Blotzer called us and left a couple of voicemails.
Was mad at us that we were haters.
And he wanted to explain himself and get his input and all this other stuff. And you invited him on the show and said, you're welcome to come on, but then he never did.
No. Well, remember he wanted to have a pre-discussion, and I did that with him, and then he went away. I don't know.
Yeah. He just never pursued it any further.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, our good friend Ozzy Ace from Australia, he turned me on to this. Apparently Eddie Trunk talked to Jason Green.
Mm-hmm.
And our good friend Ozzy, he says, I have no idea who Jason Green is.
Okay.
So Ozzy, fake fan.
Yeah, fake fan.
How would you not know who Jason Green is? But it was recommended to me by Google. I think he spoke to one of the Dockin' dudes recently as well. Anyway, he said that Paul Stanley calls that metal show nothing more than Wayne's World.
Nice.
So he told me to fast forward this to the 50-minute mark.
Okay.
I guess Eddie talked to him for, quite a while, actually, about an hour.
Eddie talked to Jason Green?
He did.
Okay.
Via the Skype.
Yeah.
And he chatted at him for 50 or at least an hour. And he told me to fast forward to 52 minutes, he said.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing here. So I didn't listen to this ahead of time.
Okay.
I just wanted to see what Ozzy picked up on this.
All right.
So let's see what Jason Green has to say to Eddie Trunk.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Wait a minute here. Gotta pause this. All right, here we go.
Social media. It could be starting something like this. It could be a lot of different things to put out something. And sometimes, I mean, some people maybe unwisely had a few too many drinks or smoked too much weed or whatever, and then they get on there and and then, it becomes a thing. So I've seen it. I think generally, though, most people have short attention spans, and it kind of blows over pretty quick, too.
Yeah, and that's a good point. The time you spend arguing with this person, in a few hours, this will not matter. Unless you're Paul Stanley and this becomes a news story, and even then, there's so many Paul Stanley stories. Speaking of Paul Stanley, this is a good segue for you, Eddie. Everyone's going to want to know about that metal show. Obviously, it's been off the air for a while, but people still see it in reruns and still have questions about it. Paul Stanley compares it to Wayne's World. So,
I always
I
said
honor.
that's a compliment because Wayne's World was at least in HD.
Yeah. I think he wasn't very good on the insults on that one. And obviously, it was a cheap dig because this show was extremely popular. Anyone who was involved in the hard rock heavy metal scene was watching it, and was involved. And so
he's pretty much the only guy that didn't do it.
Yeah, and that's for personal reasons. Obviously, this is on the VH1 network. This is not Wayne's World. You know what I mean? He's on VH1 in other capacities, but he has a personal issue for you calling out what you see. And that's what you do. You're a fan and you're passionate about it. And so, but tell me a little bit about that metal show. Is there any sort of plan to do that again?
So sounds like Jason is interviewing Eddie Trunk.
Yeah. Well, he is. Jason has a podcast.
Yeah, I am aware of that.
Yeah. So is that not how this is? This is on Jason's podcast, not on Eddie Trunk's, right?
It says Eddie Trunk talks broadcasting at home in 2021, that metal show and much more.
But it's got to be Jason's podcast.
I would imagine.
Okay.
All right. So we got Five Head talking about that metal show. All right. So let's see what Eddie, his recollections of that metal show is all about.
Unfortunately, at the moment, no. I hope that changes. I'm asked about it still every day. I appreciate
every day.
Every day.
What was the other thing he was asked about every day? Vinnie Vincent, Paul Stanley. Yeah, every day.
Every day. This guy has a lot of conversations every day about the same shit.
Right.
At what point do you start saying, I'm not going to talk about that anymore? He
Yeah.
asked me about that yesterday.
Yeah, he's asked every day about that metal show. He's asked every day about Vinnie Vincent. He's asked every day about Paul Stanley.
Yeah.
It's like Groundhog Day.
It really is. Wakes up, somebody's sitting there saying, hey, what about that metal show? Is it coming back? Goes to bed, gets up. Hey, what about that metal show? Is it coming back? Come on, Ed.
It's not every day.
How about a lot?
Yeah, often.
Yeah.
Not every day.
Or how about you just don't answer the question?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, if it happens, it happens. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Thanks for asking. It ain't nothing on the schedule. Moving on.
An artist or a fan, I appreciate it. Speaking of YouTube, there have been some shows that have popped up on YouTube, which is newsworthy in the sense that in the past, when they popped up on YouTube and fans have posted them, Viacom, who owns it, pulled it down, and they had people that were policing that and deleting them. So the fact that they have left some up recently is interesting, and it's actually brought a lot of attention to the show again, because people can now see it all over the world, even though they're old episodes. And they can also, there's younger people. I had a woman contact me the other day. Her kid is 11 and just started watching episodes on YouTube. So it's all great. It's great that it still lives in that way. VH1.com put some up there. I don't own them. I don't control them.
Right.
We're asked about it all the time. And
every day,
all the time.
right.
In fact, it's been 3 seconds. How come you're not asking again, Jason? Because it's every day, all the time.
The simple truth is there's nothing happening now. There's always people that come around and kind of kick the tires. The challenge is very, very simple. We need to find a broadcast home that gets and understands the show and would like to bring it back.
It's not a matter of getting and understanding. It's a matter of selling it to broadcast or to, commercial people who are willing to sponsor it.
It's a matter of he doesn't want to do it himself.
Yeah. Well, again, it's if it's a viable thing and you make money with it, then they would be knocking at your door.
Yeah.
But if there's no sponsors out there who are clamoring for this, nobody's interested, because it's all about making a dollar.
Well, and look, I'm not going to shit on Eddie here. I understand where he's coming from, but that era died with that show, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Anybody you want to talk to is doing video casts now.
Yeah.
There's no real need for a show.
And it's free.
Yeah.
There's no cost involved.
Yeah. There's no need for a show anymore. You don't need a show on VH1 to find out that Stephen Piercy's going out and, playing birthday parties or whatever it is.
The thing is, it always boils down to dollars.
For Eddie.
Well, yeah, for him, because he expects to be paid.
Yeah.
But to do a show in today's market with digital media the way it is, and we're obviously living proof of that. Yeah. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, it costs $500 a year.
Yeah. It costs nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they all have gear.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure Eddie has gear. I'm sure Don has gear. I'm sure that dude, there's no reason they couldn't. And here's where I think Eddie just doesn't want to do it unless he's paid a big amount of money. I don't know this to be sure, but I'm 99% sure that if they wanted to do that metal show on Compound Media, the door would be open.
Of course, but there's no money in it.
There's no money to do it. There's no big money to do it. I mean, yeah. Anthony would pay him, but he would pay him pittance. But Anthony has said numerous times he's a fan of Eddie. He has Jameson on his network, for God's sake. Of course
he does. But the thing is again, I have to be paid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if there's not that kind of income or commercial sponsorship that would pay that kind of money,
yeah,
I'm not interested. And it's just like, I'm not going to do this because I want X amount of dollars to do this.
Yeah. And there's just not a need for it anymore.
No,
all these guys do. Everybody does video, Zoom interviews. It's it's all the same. Is it really that much different if they come into the studio and play Stump the Trunk? Get out of here. And this being said, Eddie does good interviews. I will argue that all day long. He did, I'll give Eddie a plug here since we usually just shit on him nonstop. I will give him an absolute plug for not this week's, not the one that was released yesterday or 2 days ago, but the show from a week ago, yesterday or Thursday, that he did with Rick Allen of Def Leppard. That was seriously one of the best interviews he's ever done.
Okay.
It was a really, really strong interview with Rick Allen. And I'll be honest, I didn't know anything about Rick Allen other than he's fucking only can count to 5 on his hands. I didn't know anything else about him. And and he did a fantastic interview with the guy.
All right.
Really good listen. So,
All right. Well, again, we talked about this earlier in the show, but everything boils down to the green.
mm-hmm.
Not Jason Green,
Yeah.
but the greenbacks.
Right, of course.
So if somebody isn't willing to step up and pay a lot of money, whatever a lot of money amounts to,
mm-hmm.
it's just not happening.
Right.
And again, this goes back to you and I and everybody who's involved with the CMS network.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the money for us.
Nope.
We all make our living, whatever it is that we do. You do your IT thing. I do my container thing. Our other guys on the network, they do their own thing, but we do it because we like to do it. We don't make our money off of it. We don't make any money off of it.
Right. I mean,
but we do it because we like to do it. That's it. But for Eddie, he's quote unquote an entertainer who's lived in that sphere where he's been employed by a record label that's Mega Force Records or VH1 or MTV or Viacom. Sirius. He expects to make a living or get a paycheck from these outlets, and if there's no paycheck there, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, he's not a metal guy, he's a metal employee.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it boils down to. Could Eddie Trunk do that metal show on a platform? Sure he could. Is the remuneration or the payoff, whatever it is that VH1 paid them? No, probably not.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, no, I'm not going to do it. So that's what it boils down to. Don't pretend like, well, there's all this interest out there, and it's interesting that YouTube puts these clips up there or allows these clips to remain because there's this interest and blah 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 blah.
There's not interest because he had a gig, he got another gig, and it wasn't that metal show. The thing that he did with Axis, the concert video thing where he would like show up and do shows, and I'll give Eddie credit there. It was a good show. I watched. Well, the one episode I watched was good with him. It was him and Don Jameson at a Sammy Hagar show on a beach somewhere.
Okay.
And it was good. I mean, it was a good watch, and it was cool, and they did cool interviews, and it was fun. Look, Eddie has talent. There's no doubt about it. He just overblows his talent. That's the biggest problem Eddie has, is that he doesn't realize that the industry has caught up with his talent. And there's no value to it anymore.
Well, look at him. He's doing Jason Green is basically sitting in his bedroom. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you see this video, he's sitting in his bedroom, and Eddie is sitting in his downstairs studio, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's got his gold records on the wall and things behind him, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But he's doing this for free, I'm assuming. I don't think Jason paid him to do this.
Oh.
So Jason is sitting in his home in Las Vegas. I think it's Las Vegas.
Yeah, because he manages Vamped.
Yeah. And Eddie's sitting in his his downstairs room where his wife lets him have a man cave.
Mm-hmm.
And chatting with Jason,
right,
who was on the show 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a fan of this show.
Yeah.
So it costs nothing to do this.
Right.
So all right, let's go.
What about this? What about that? Well, I can't, unfortunately, just walk into Netflix and say, you should put this on.
Yeah, I can't walk into Netflix and say, I need this X amount of dollars to do this.
Yeah.
No, he could go to Netflix and walk in and say, I could do this, but it's not really going to cost you anything.
Right.
That's what it boils down to.
Well, dude, I mean, he keeps this talk alive about this show. I mean, the show's been off like a decade, hasn't it? Or almost? several years.
At least 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, I mean it's been a long time now.
It's been a while. I think it's been off the air longer than it was on the air.
Yeah, I mean, what's next? Is there a reason that Green Acres hasn't come back too? Come on, Eddie.
Well, Eddie Arnold is in the ground, as well as Ava Gabor.
Yeah, but still, couldn't we recast?
Well, I think even Ebba's dead now,
Oh, well,
as well as Arnold the pig.
yeah.
I think they're all dead.
I mean, geez, the way Eddie's talking about it, the Beverly Hillbillies is right around the corner.
Well, I think Buddy Ebsen is dead as well.
Nice.
I think the only one that's still living is Max Bear.
Jethro. Yeah. You can start the new Beverly Hillbillies. Eddie Trunk and Don Jameson and Jim Florentine on the new Beverly Hillbillies.
Right.
I'll bet that would get greenlit before that metal show comes down. I got news for you, Ed. Nothing's going to get greenlit unless you're doing that rap show. Because that's what's hip right now. Metal is not hip right now.
Yeah.
So get that through your head and do what you're doing. Do your podcast, do your show, and be happy.
Yeah.
And stop answering questions about it like there's demand and you just can't figure out why it hasn't got signed. Because you sound like a fucking idiot.
Yeah. As Huey Lewis once said, it's hip to be square.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds stupid at this point.
Well, again, this is so far out from the point that it got canceled. But again, the real reason isn't because you can't do it. It's because there's no money in it.
Yeah, well, there's no market for it.
Well, there would be a market, but there would not be a paying market for it.
There could be a paying market for it, but he's going to have to do like everybody else and grassroot it. He's going to have to get to the grassroots and do it. And hopefully it picks up, whether it's through a Patreon or whether it's through a subscription service. You know, that's what in 2021, that's how you get a show like that.
But there's no, here's the
guarantee.
There's no guarantee. Exactly.
Yeah, no, but that's what he's going to. If he wants to do something that's not focused on Cardi B and fucking Nicki Minaj, then what he's going to have to do is do it himself.
Yes.
And then keep marketing it every episode, keep marketing it to the people that do Pluto TV or Tubi TV or whatever until one of them picks it up. That's what he needs to do.
Yeah. But the thing is I don't want to put that much effort into it without being paid.
I get it. But then stop doing interviews about it and pretending like there's this mass interest and you just can't get the trigger pulled on this fucking financial thing because that's just false. It's false. And quite frankly, Ed, if they were going to do a show, pick up an interview show, they would pick up any number of people before you because it would be cheaper.
Right.
And there's a zillion people that are out there doing it day in and day out on podcasts that are proving that they can do it as well as you for 1/10 of the cost.
Correct.
And that's why he's not going to get picked up.
That's correct. All right, here we go.
We've tried, of course, and
now, how did you try?
No.
That's the whole thing. We tried. You mean you tried to sign a deal?
Yeah, or we said, hey, we'd like to still do this, can we? And then Viacom said no.
Not for the money that you're asking.
or just no, and we're not going to give you the rights to the name. We're going to hold on to that in case we want to launch it again with 3 hipper people in 10 years or whatever.
Exactly.
Well, that's what they did with Headbangers Ball.
Well, I agree with you.
You know, they're not stupid over there. They'll keep that metal show and they'll bring it back with Jose Mangan and 2 other guys. And they'll do the new Headbangers or the new
That metal show. Mm-hmm.
Don't you think, with hipper younger guys?
Sure. Of course.
That's why it's not out there.
They have to want a show. They have to know what a show is. And the God's honest truth is, we're rock fans. You're a rock fan. I'm a rock fan. People watching this, rock fans. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this. So we know and care about that metal show. We know and care about these artists. You get outside of that bubble to a regular network executive that doesn't have any passion for rock music and doesn't even know what the show was, let alone what VH1 Classic was.
Right.
There's no connect to it at all. Wait, you want to do an hour show talking to who about what? And they would probably just immediately think, oh, that should just be on YouTube with the rest of it. And the one thing I don't want to do, if I can avoid it, and I've said consistently, is we're all friends. We'll do the show again tomorrow if the opportunity comes up. There's no issue. There's no grievance. There's no money issue. There's nothing.
Shut up. There is a money issue.
Yeah, or
You're not getting the money that you want.
But let's hear what he says is the issue.
All right.
But the one thing I do, the only thing that I kind of insist on is the show has to be done at least at the level that it was, meaning studio audience, properly shot, properly booked. Because if we go and do it lesser than that, we're just going to come off like anybody else's YouTube show.
So who's going to pay for all this?
Yeah. Guess what? In this world today, that's the value of it, is a YouTube show.
It is.
That is the value of the show, Ed.
Anybody could do this, Ed. I'm sorry. Again, I appreciate what you've done, but that was years ago, and digital media has made it impossible or harder for anybody to sell a product like a show to a corporate outlet like Viacom to pay for all of that production.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it boils down.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we literally could do a similar show right here with StreamYard and, and bring in guests on with StreamYard or Zoom or whatever, and it would cost us what? A booking agent? We have to buy a booking agent for $1,000 or so. That's it. There's no need for the things he's talking about are not very important in today's world. Nobody cares about an audience.
He's talking about a whole studio, an audience, cameramen, a stage.
Yeah, he's talking about $30,000 an episode.
Yeah. And looking at this video, if you're looking at this at all, there's Jason Green sitting in his bedroom in Las Vegas doing a Skype interview with Eddie Trunk in New Jersey for nothing.
And it's just as compelling.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah, but my point is it's every bit as compelling as if they had a studio and they had an audience and they were playing Stump the Trunk and all that other shit. It's just as compelling just to hear the interviews. To be honest, it's more compelling because you don't have to cut through all the bullshit and get 2 5-minute segments with Angus Young or whatever. What would you rather hear? 2 5-minute segments with Angus Young or 30 minutes with somebody qualified to interview him well?
Well, the thing is that when you're on commercial outlet, you're on your best behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing, ad hoc, interview guy, you're gonna maybe spill a couple of nuggets of truth, because you got nothing to lose.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's what Jason Green is doing. He's talking to Eddie Trunk for an hour plus.
Sure.
And Eddie is just like spewing his dissatisfaction with everything. But the fact is, and again, I know Eddie makes his living doing commercial radio or XM or whatever it is that he does. That's what he's made his living from for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole industry has changed. It's over. That era is over. Nobody's going to go, well, we're going to invest X amount of dollars into a show. They're not going to do it anymore because everybody is doing it.
Yeah. He ought to be happy that he's still getting bookings to go and introduce bands.
True.
You know, and boy, does he celebrate that in the new episode or the last episode of his podcast. He literally was like, you know, I just want to tell you guys that, you know, the world's opening up, and that what that means is I'll be out introducing more bands. And,
All right.
he's celebrating this. It's like, I'll be out at the whatever fest with Cinderella and Jackal and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, get over yourself.
Yeah, that is an era that's closing down quickly.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. No one cares.
You have to, you know, if you're going to survive in this marketplace, you're going to have to reinvent yourself.
Yeah. If you want to stay, which I don't
Yeah.
know that he wants to.
Yeah. But look at Jason Green. Jason Green was quote unquote a road manager 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But now he's doing a video podcast and he's got Eddie Trunk on the line for over an hour.
Yeah.
You know, so and this guy is just doing it from his, you know, from a room in this apartment in Las Vegas.
Sure.
It's like, okay.
That's all we're doing too. Same
And
thing.
again, but we've been doing this for years and
Sure.
we don't expect anything
Right.
in return from it. That's the whole difference.
Yeah. Mhm.
So here we go with Eddie.
And I
and you
wanted
kill the brand.
what's that?
And you kill the brand that you've established. You've established this as a bigger thing.
Yeah.
If you go
I
and do a
wanted
cheap
to
version.
I wanted to have at least what it had. I mean, like you said, I wanted to at least be what Paul Stanley thought it was Wayne's World, which is
Right.
fine. I want that or better. So
Yeah,
that,
well, see, Eddie, you're delusional because it will never be that or better. You'll never get the corporate backing that you used to get 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah. That day is done.
It's over.
Mm-hmm.
That's why so many bands who want to record a record these days go to crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting corporate sponsorship anymore. They're relying on their fan base to go, yeah, man, I would love another record from you, man. So I'm gonna donate $20 to your cause.
Yeah.
You know, but some corporate media, whether it's Viacom or whoever it is, they're not going to invest, $100,000 or whatever it is cost to produce a show.
Right.
To put Eddie Trunk and two comedians on a show. It's not going to happen anymore. The whole environment has changed. It's over.
Yeah. It's dead. It's done.
So you're doing a video podcast or a vlog, as it were, via Skype, and you're doing exactly what a lot of people are doing, and you're doing this with a guy that, Jason Green.
Yeah.
And you spent over an hour with this guy
Mm-hmm.
doing that metal show, more or less.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's sad. I hate to see this, but it's just how it is.
Yeah.
We'll play a little more of this.
All right.
the challenge is like, yeah, we'll do it tomorrow, but people have said, well, why don't you just make it a podcast? Why don't you sit in your basement with iPhones? Anyone can do that. We want it to be, I want it to be at least what it was, at least at that level. So, and that's not a big ask because again, we didn't spend a ton of money. So we'll see. We never say never.
So he more or less understands the reality of it. I don't want to sit in a basement with three other guys with an iPhone.
Yeah, well, sucks.
But that's what's going on, Ed.
Yeah. Why don't you set up 3 iPhones and then record all 3 and then tie it all together?
Well, that takes some work.
Yeah, well, that's it.
But that's the reality. You understand, Ed, that's where it is at this point. People are recording a show or a podcast or a video cast or a vlog or whatever you want to call it today. They're doing it on their iPhone, they're doing it on their webcam, all these things, and they're producing pretty good damn shows.
Yeah.
For next to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
sorry, you're not getting paid, but maybe somebody might invest some money in what you're doing, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, I'm sure the guy that invested everything into fucking VCR tools wishes that it would go back to VCRs too. I'm sure that guy probably wishes that the VCR would make a comeback, but guess what? It doesn't.
Yeah, it's over. That whole technology thing has passed us by, and we're on to something new.
Yeah, those guys that used to remember when and this wasn't even that long ago. Remember when every mall had a shoe repair shop?
I do remember. I've actually had a few boots repaired there.
That's what I'm saying. But is there a shoe place anywhere now?
No.
That shit is gone.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, the industry changes. How much do you think the guy that became a expert in fixing dot matrix printers hates these fucking wireless inkjet printers these days?
Well, sure. I still see a few places around where we'll repair your computer.
Yeah.
It's like anymore. I mean, what value does that bring? Anybody can do a recovery on their computer and it's fixed.
Well, dude, yeah, and dude, I get those calls every once in a while. Can you repair my computer? And I ask them what they have, and my recommendation almost always is just go buy another computer. I mean, that's almost I kill myself of money because I could go and rape them for $400, to go and fix their computer. But it's like, dude, your computer's fucked.
Yeah,
just go get another one.
Yeah, the hard drive crashed.
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, just go get another computer. They're $400 now.
Yeah, they're cheap. So go get another one. You don't need to rebuild this one.
Yeah, you don't need to keep adding money into fixing it over and over again. You can buy a new one for $400, or you can pay me $300 to fucking wipe your hard drive for you. Okay, I'll take it if that's what you really want to do, but I'd rather just give you a fucking code and use this to get 10% off of buying a new one. Dummy.
All right.
There's someone that just kicked the tires on it recently, but the challenge is...
Really? There was somebody that kicked the tires on it recently?
Was Eddie T from New Jersey.
All right.
Can they actually walk it in and get it placed somewhere? Can you get it on the air somewhere? There's people who have offered money to do it. There's people who have offered a lot of things. Well, if you take someone's money, they're going to want it returned. What's the mechanism to return it? Right. So there's a lot involved in just saying, oh, go put it on YouTube. And that's the challenge right now.
Yeah. And I'll let you go in a minute, Eddie. But and one of the funny things about this show, you being able to see it on YouTube and young people discovering it, is that a lot of people are finding their news from something that could be 10 years old. Some people think that Tracy Guns is still has a chick singing in a really poor version of LA Guns, or don't know that Janie Lane has passed away, and one of the great things.
All right, Jason, you're reaching there. Jason's reaching there. Come on.
What, it's been 11 years?
Yeah, come on. I think people have figured out that Janie's dead. I don't think people are like, oh, I can't wait to see Warrant. Janie Lane is back.
Well, if you listen to Eddie, you would think that, is Janie Lane with Warrant these days? They're coming to my town. Is he singing?
Yes, he is. Better go to that show.
So dumb.
That's what I would tell. If we ever get callers like that, no matter what they're selling, we're buying.
Well,
is Jeff Tate and Queens right? Yes.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm going to say that our caller's a little bit smarter than that.
Yeah, but if we ever get those again, that's how we're going to answer from now on.
Yeah.
Chris Carlo back? Yes.
Yeah. Janie's back.
Janie's back.
Yeah.
Lemmy is still fronting Motorhead.
He is.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Coming to a town near you. Yes.
So dumb. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the show for tonight.
All right. That'll work.
All right. Well, do you have a tune that you would like to take us out of the show with?
Sure. Why not? Why don't we go? I'm gonna make you go to YouTube.
Okay.
Go with the new Cirith Ungol.
Cirith?
Cirith. Second word Ungol. Cirith Ungol. They are an old band, but our friend from Night Demon, Jarvis Leatherby, is the bass player in that band now.
They're an old band, but he's playing with them.
Well, he's playing bass with them now. Yeah, you know they're very like they were on like Metal Massacre or Metal Massacre 1, I think.
Okay.
I mean, they are an old band, but play the song Half Past Human from their new album, also called Half Past Human.
Wow.
It just came out.
Okay. What is the name of the band again?
Cirith Ungol. Cirith.
Oh, wait a minute. CIRITH.
Second word UNGOL.
UNG. Did you say IL?
OL.
Oh, OL. Okay.
And the name of the song,
they are.
Yeah, and then the name of the song is Half Past Human.
Wow.
I like it.
Oh, there it is. Wow. Okay. What's the story there?
What, with that band or?
Yeah, with the band.
Well, they put out an album, a year ago, I guess it was. And I think, I don't know for sure, but I think Jarvis, as just a fan, got them back together. I think Jarvis reached out to whoever, I don't know anybody in the band, but they were out in the 80s, didn't make a huge impact, but they were like a big underground band.
Okay.
And then they, just disbanded forever, and then they were back, and then they disbanded again, and now they're back. So,
okay,
I'm pretty sure Jarvis Leatherby is like kind of the emphasis behind them getting it together. But I love them. It's really good stuff. So I like it.
All right. So you want the song Half Past Human?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, because I guess that's the title track of the CD.
It is.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Happy Memorial Day to everyone.
Yep.
And go out there and enjoy what this country stands for, the sacrifices that people have made to make this country great.
Mm-hmm.
Don't promote the Marxist communist bullshit that this current administration is promoting. And we'll be back next Saturday night. We'll do it all over again.
Yep.
All right. Well, until next Saturday night, this is Neeley along with my very good friend
Chris Egan.
And we're gone.
Bye, kids.
See ya.
Thanks for checking out this episode of The Classic Metal Show. Get all of our episodes uncensored at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. Join us weekly from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern at www.cmsradio.net. Participate in the live chat room at www.chatandkill.com. Once again, thank you for checking out The Classic Metal Show with Neeley and Chris. Hail and kill, fuck you, pal, and hand job!